Hey there, you just clicked on First Down Punts. Nice move. This is a podcast about football and how it relates to fantasy football. Hope you like what you hear. We're going to get this thing started. Let's get crazy. And welcome in, everyone, to another episode of First Down Punts. I'm your host, Coach Chris. Today we're going to be going over our starts and sits for Week 15. Jump into some injury news real quick, though. Some players that have been ruled out. Alvin Kamara for the Saints, Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Cardinals, out again with that heel injury. Hollywood Brown for the Chiefs. He's got some personal reason. They're also still missing 3 of their offensive linemen. Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields have been ruled out for the Jets, so Brady Cook gets his start. T. Higgins ruled out with a concussion. We talked about in our video earlier in the week. He was checked for a concussion, then he went back in the game, then he ended up leaving again. Comes up, has a concussion. I know it's his second one. I think it's the third time he's been checked for one this year, though. But he's out today. T.J. Watt had to go to the hospital. He had something going on with his lung. He's going to be out for a while, but it sounds like he is going to be able to get back, hopefully, by the end of the season. Pat Bryant, rookie for the Broncos, wide receiver, out this week. Jaden Daniels with that arm injury for the second time and 8th time missing games this year. It's not the 8th time, but I got him on my fantasy team. He's sunk my season, man. But he's out this week. Mariota gets the start. Some players that are questionable. Josh Jacobs, obviously, one of the big ones. He is expected to play today, but his teammate Emmanuel Wilson, it sounds like he might not play. So definitely something to pay attention to. Devon Achane, expected to play Monday Night Football. You got to wait on him, but it sounds like he's going to be good to go. Maybe pick up Jalen Wright or Ollie Gordon just in case, if you can. But other than that, I would just say start Achane. I'm expecting him to play. Devontae Adams, dealing with a little bit of hamstring injury. He's expected to play. Mari DiMercato should be back for the Cardinals, which is going to muddle that backfield because Bam Knight, Michael Carter there. Bam Knight's been the more successful one, but DiMercato is probably the most talented one. So just a nightmare going on right there with Arizona, not to mention they just lost their left tackle, Paris Johnson, for the season. Deebo Samuel has an illness but is expected to play. CeeDee Lamb cleared with concussion protocol. He will play. Roma Dunze sounds like he's got a chance to play. And Nick Chubb, unlikely to play. He was questionable, but it sounds like he's going to be out. A couple other things of note. Terrell Jennings, running back for the Patriots, third stringer. He's been placed on IR due to a concussion. Kyler Gordon for the cornerback for the Bears has been placed on IR, so they're going to be losing him for the season. Phillip Rivers getting the start today for the Colts. We'll talk about it when we get into the game. Kirby Joseph, Lions safety, but they've been waiting to come out. He's missed 7 games already. He had a setback, and it sounds like he's going to go on season-ending IR possibly. Jets cornerback, the rookie Azariah Thomas, has been placed on IR. He's going to be out for the season. Trayvon Diggs, cornerback for the Cowboys. Sounds like him and the Cowboys are having some issues, and he's not going to play today. I don't know if he's going to play the rest of the season. They're probably headed towards a divorce. He has been injured this year. He's missed games. They were hoping to get him back. Now, for some odd reason, he's not going to be back. So Cowboys will not have him tonight versus the Vikings, but definitely something that you want to know what's going on with Trayvon Diggs. He's going to be on the Cowboys and not going forward. And then the last thing, Brandon Ayuk, we've already talked about a few weeks ago when the Niners voided his guarantees. He's now been placed on a did not report left team list and will not play this season. So that's definitely headed towards a divorce. I don't know any other way to look at that. Good chance he gets traded or just outright cut before the free agency period starts, and we will see what happens in the offseason, I guess, with Brandon Ayuk. Any of these Week 15 starts and sits, guys. First game, Bills 9-4 take on the Patriots 11-2. Huge game for the Bills if they expect to have a chance to win the division. They lose this one, all hope is lost. That's about the gist of it. Patriots have been playing really well. They're one of the best teams in the NFL right now as far as record-wise. They've had an easier schedule, but they did what they were supposed to do with that easier schedule, so hats off to them. This should be a hell of a game. Now, there's been some weather across the north side of the country from the Midwest out to the east. There's going to be rain or snow or sleet in most of the games on the north side of the United States today. The Bills, I'm starting Josh Allen. I'm starting James Cook. I'm starting Dalton Kincaid. On the Patriots side, I'm starting Drake May. I'm starting Travion Henderson. And I'm starting no one else unless I have to. No, I'm just kidding with you. Definitely starting those two. Flex players for this game on the Bills side, Khalil Shakir. I don't want to mess with any of those other quarterbacks, but the Bills defense, I think you could take a chance on them. And then their kicker, Matt Prater, there, yeah, he could definitely be a guy you could trust even in bad weather. On the Patriots side, Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte. I think they're both flex-worthy players. Diggs has actually dropped down in percentage of snaps and opportunities, obviously, the last couple of weeks since Kayshon Boutte has been back. So this could be a game they need Kayshon Boutte, and it's a game that you could need Kayshon Boutte in one of those deep leagues. So other than that, guys, I'm not really wanting to get any. I don't want Borregales, the kicker for the Patriots. Oh, the Patriots defense, they're still worthy of a start. They've been one of the best defenses in fantasy all season long. Josh Allen has been sacked in multiple times in multiple games. And as good as he is as a stallion, you can still get some points off him, a tip pass, maybe a bad weather ball, something like that. The Patriots could come up big, and not to mention their kick return game is excellent there with Marcus Jones. So if you get points for that, Patriots are a definite start. Now, I'm not expecting a huge blow-up day. I'm just saying that they're not going to be the reason you lose this week. Next game, Ravens 6-7 take on the Bengals 4-9. No T. Higgins, like we talked about in injuries. Starts for this game, though, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, yes. On the Ravens side, I'm still starting Lamar Jackson, guys. Like I said, last week it was kind of a 2 QB player. Just wondering what was happening. Came out, played fine, looked a hell of a lot healthier than he did the week before. So against this Bengals defense, Lamar Jackson is a definite yes. Mark Andrews got his money, and the way the Bengals guard or don't guard tight ends, he's a definite yes. And then Derrick Henry, yes, the Bengals can be ran on. And Tyler Loop, the kicker. Yes, he missed, the extra point last week, but I'm still starting Tyler Loop. He's a damn good kicker. Flex players, Zay Flowers, obviously. I think he's always going to be involved as long as Lamar is there. On the Bengals side, Mike Gesicki had the 2-touchdown game last week. Now, granted, Higgins played most of that game. Gesicki, anytime one of those guys is out, I'm always interested. And there's definitely going to be possibilities for him. There's also possibilities for Yosevas or the Mitchell Tinsley kid. But Gesicki's really the only one I think I would consider flexing. And then Evan McPherson, the kicker, you're fine with a start. I don't think he's going to be some huge day, but he had a huge day a couple weeks ago, and it was wonderful for whoever had him as a fantasy owner. So other than that, I'm not really worried about anybody else in this game. Keaton Mitchell's banged up, but it sounds like he's going to be okay going to play. He was full practice Friday. And if you need a running back desperation mode, Keaton Mitchell's not a bad option because he's been involved enough since Justice Hill's been out. With the Bengals defense more than anything, they could definitely be ran on. And the Ravens, we've seen it. They just don't even give Derrick Henry carries for a couple quarters in a game. So Keaton Mitchell's the guy that's been getting those carries. So if you're in a desperation mode, real deep league, Keaton Mitchell could be a flex guy for you. And then Isaiah Likely, he is a shot in the dark to me as far as if you need a big play, you're down big, you take Likely, maybe he gets a 2-touchdown game. But I'm not recommending him as, I got to get him in my lineup type of player. And then Baltimore D, I think you're good to go ahead and try to get them in there. Cincinnati D, no thanks. Next game, Jets 3-10 take on the Jaguars 9-4. Jags just took over first in the division. Could be down for a little bit of a letdown. You'd hope they're not. You'd hope that they would take that position and run with it, but you never know how football goes. It is in Jacksonville, so they're at home. I'm expecting them to win. Starts for this game on the Jets side, it's Breece Hall, and that's about it. On the Jag side, I think this could be another Trevor Lawrence game. You get Brian Thomas Jr. in your lineup, you get Jacoby Myers in your lineup, and you get Travis Etienne in your lineup. Jags defense, definitely want them starting for me. Flex players, you can flex Mason Taylor. I think he'll get enough opportunities with Brady Cook, whether it's in prevent mode in the fourth quarter, when the defense is in prevent mode in the fourth quarter because they're up big, or just throughout the game because they need options. And then A.D. Mitchell, I think he's still like a desperation flex player. Not recommending it, but definitely somebody that you're dealing with injuries. You got a bunch of guys out. You're in a big league. A.D. Mitchell is still a guy that knows how to get open. And if Brady Cook can get him the ball, he could have a good day against this defense. The kicker is Cam Little. Yes. Nick Folk. Yes. I want both of those in my lineups. Brady Cook. No thanks. I don't want any of that. And then flex players for the Jags. It's, Brenton Strange. You got to get him in your lineup. That's for damn sure. He's more of a start for me. And then Parker Washington plays, which it sounds like he could. I think you could flex him too because, like I said, I think this is another Trevor Lawrence game where he plays big. has a great day. Like I called one last week. I think this could be another one. So next game, Chargers 9-4 versus the Chiefs 6-7. Chiefs are on their last legs, man. There's a scenario today where if 4 teams get a win, including the Chargers over the Chiefs are out of the playoffs, and we know the answer to that question. If that's the case, it's going to be, like I said last week, it's going to be a little shocking that they don't make the playoffs after the run that they've been on, but might be a reboot mode the off season for them if that's the case. If they end up missing the playoffs, we can start seeing players sit a little bit more. They're already missing 3 offensive linemen. Some of those defensive guys that are banged up might take a couple games off if they end up getting knocked out this week. I think it'll probably take another week for them if they are going to get knocked out, or if they win this game, then we're back to the what if game. What if they do this? What if this happens? What if that happens? But we'll see what happens going forward. On the Chiefs side, I'm starting Pat Mahomes. I'm starting Travis Kelce. I'm starting Rashee Rice. On the Chargers side, I'm starting Justin Herbert. I'm starting Ladd McConkey. And I'm starting Omarion Hampton. He's back now. Got his feet wet in the water last week. Now he's back. I think he's going to be the full-time guy. Vidal will have his opportunities, but just not as many as he had been getting and not as many as we saw him. I think that split's going to slowly change from Vidal to Hampton now, with Hampton getting back healthy and showing that he was ready to go. Vidal's still a damn good player. You saw the long catch he had last week, but I just feel like his role is diminished seriously starting this week. So flex players, though, Keenan Allen, this could be another one of those games. The Chiefs got great corners. Going to slow down Johnson on the outside, going to slow down Ladd a little bit, and Keenan Allen could be the one working around the middle. Rondé Gadsden, I don't know if this is one of his games. I think that you could find a better option. The way he just kind of fell off since he had that little run earlier in the season. He has not been the player we were hoping to be going forward. It's kind of an up and down season for him. He wasn't doing nothing, and all of a sudden he started being amazing, and then it's just kind of faded away, and he's just kind of a little bit involved. Yes, he could catch a touchdown, and if you're in a 2 tight end league, then I would start him, but if you're in a 1 tight end league, I would not. On the Chiefs side, flex players, it's really just that defense and Harrison Butker. And then Cameron Dicker on the Chargers side, you can flex him as well, or start him. You can start Cameron Dicker. He's a damn good kicker. And then Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's the other flex guy for the Chiefs. He's the touchdown guy, the goal line guy, and the Chiefs always have a chance at that every week. He gets one quite often. Maybe this isn't a game for him, but there's always a chance of it. So if he's your third running back, flex guy, you're not going to be sad you got Kareem Hunt in the game. He's always going to get some yards. He's always going to get a couple catches, and that punch-in touchdown or maybe 2 could definitely be the difference in what happens for your week in the fantasy. And with the playoffs going on right now, you got to be selective with your starts because you're trying to win. Cardinals 3-10 take on the Texans 8-5. I don't think we got any questions about this one. Could the Cardinals shock the Texans? Yes, absolutely, because the Texans have had a couple of those games already this season where it's like, what the hell are you guys doing out there? But the Texans are the better team. That defense should dismantle the Cardinals, especially missing Paris Johnson on the offensive line. It's going to be showing. But DeMarcado back is helpful. He's much better receiving back than the other 2 and a little more burst than the other 2. I don't think I want to mess with any of those Cardinals running backs today, though, mainly because I don't think Arizona's going to have a lot of success. But starts for this game, you could definitely still start Michael Wilson. With Marvin Harrison out, we've seen Michael Wilson gets double-digit targets, double-digit catches, over 100 yards, a touchdown or 2. I'm hoping for 3 because I got to start him this week, and I'm in the playoffs in some of my leagues. Trey McBride is the other obvious start for them, without a doubt. On the Texans side, I'm starting Woody Marks with the news that Nick Chubb is out today. Did I remember to say that? I can't even remember if I mentioned that in the injuries. I think I did. But Nick Chubb not playing today. I'm definitely starting Woody Marks. I think he's worthy of a number 2 type running back. So if you got a guy that's a little questionable, maybe Woody Marks is that guy because Arizona hasn't been able to stop running backs anyways. And then Nico Collins, obviously, I'm starting him every week. Ka'im Fairbairn and the Houston defense, I'm starting all of them. CJ Stroud, I think you're good to go with him as a number 2. I would not have him as a number 1 by any means. He just hasn't been doing what we need. Flex players, Jaden Higgins, you can continue flexing him. He's been an 8 to 12, 13-point type of guy. And if you need a 3rd or 4th receiver, Jaden Higgins can be a serviceable option to give you a baseline of points for that position. On the other side, the Cardinals, you can start Jacoby Brissett as a number 2. he's been doing well enough. He's getting enough yards and stuff. We know how good that Houston defense is, and that's what's scary about it. Other than that, I don't really want to touch anybody else from the Cardinals. So it's Wilson, McBride, obvious, and then Brissett as a number 2 QB. You could still start him, but I would prefer to have someone else. It's all about who your option is. Next game, the Browns 3-2 take on the Bears 9-4. Expecting a little bit of this is going to be a bitter cold game. I can tell you that much, and maybe a little bit of weather to go along with it. The Browns defense, I'm starting. Quinshot Judkins, I'm starting. And Harold Fannin Jr., I'm starting. David Njoku's not going to play this week probably, so Harold Fannin Jr. to the moon. On the other side, for the Bears, I will start DeAndre Swift. I will start with Rome Odunze back. It's hard to say you have to start any of the receivers. They're all kind of flex options. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to mess with that. But Cairo Santos being back, you can go ahead and start him. He's a hell of a kicker. Flex players, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Colston Loveland. These are all kind of like flex number 2 QB, number 3 wide receiver, number 2 tight end type players to me right now. And against this Browns defense, which has not been as good as they were to begin the season, the last handful of weeks, I still expect Myles Garrett to be able to get some sacks on Caleb Williams. I still expect maybe get a turnover or two. The Bears are going to win this game, but it's not going to be an easy one in my mind. If it is, well, then I'll be shocked. I think Swift and Monangai probably have success running the ball, but as far as passing goes, I don't know how much they're going to need from Chicago, from Caleb Williams and the receivers. That's why I got them all kind of as a flex option. On the Brown side, if you want to flex Jerry Jeudy, that's on you. Don't blame me for it. I don't trust Jerry Jeudy. Yes, he had a great game last week. The week before, he didn't. He should have, but he didn't. Jerry Jeudy has talent. That's never been the question. It's about the rest of the team. Now, right now, Shador had a hell of a game last week. Would I be surprised if he comes out and has a dud? No. But I think you can probably trust him as a low-end number 2 quarterback option in those Superflex leagues this week and hope that Harold Fannin, Jerry Jeudy, Judkins. I don't think Dylan Sampson's playing, so he'll be missing a receiving option there. Jerome Ford's on IR. These are just things to pay attention to. But those guys are all definitely – it's kind of – why I'm so big on like starting Harold Fannin because they need him. And Jerry Jeudy could definitely be a player that gets involved today. So like I said, number 4 receiver, you need one. Jerry Jeudy's not the worst option. Next game, Commanders 3-10 take on the Giants, who are 2-11. This is a battle of the worst team in the division, I think. The Commanders missing Jaden Daniels like we talked about, so definitely missing him. On the Giants side, they got everybody back now. Tyrone Tracy's going to play, so don't worry about that. Starts for this game, though, I think you can start Mariota. I think you're safe with him. He's played well in the majority of his starts with no Jaden Daniels. I'm starting Mariota if I can as a number 2 option. Even as in a 16-team leaguer, you might be able to start him as that 15th, 16th guy this week. Terry McLaurin, yes. Deebo Samuel, who's questionable with illness, expected to play. I'm going to make him a flex spot just because he might be a little under weather, might not play as many snaps, but I'm starting Terry McLaurin. No Zach Ertz, obviously, with the devastating injury last week. He's out for the season. And with Chris Rodriguez questionable right now, he was downgraded to questionable. We're going to see if he's going to be able to play or not. I think you better pay attention to those game time or those inactive lists, an hour and a half for the game. I think it's better to avoid him if you can. He's been really good in his opportunities. And somebody I think that if he does start, you can start him as a flex player. If he's out, I don't really want to mess with JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or Jeremy McNichols. I think you should just avoid both of them. It'll probably be Mariota running more than either of them. On the other side for the Giants, start Jackson Dart. He's an excellent player. He's going to be scoring points. Theo Johnson with Jackson Dart back. I'm trusting Theo Johnson. He was a little banged up, missed some practice time this week, but he's playing, so no worries about that. And then flex players for the Giants: Darius Slayton, Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary. If you need a guy, he's the touchdown guy though. He's like the Kareem Hunt in Kansas City. He's a guy at the goal line. So Singletary can get a touchdown in this game, no problem against this Washington defense. They're not stopping very many people. So just some guys to consider. Darius Slayton, obviously a possibility, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Both of those are flexible options. I don't want either of these defenses, and not really interested in either of the kickers. So other than that, we'll get on this next game. The Raiders, 2-11, take on the Eagles, 8-5. Come on, Raiders. Come on, Raiders. Pull this one out. Knock those Eagles off their high horse. Let's see what happens in this game. No, I am expecting I shouldn't say I'm expecting a beat down because the Eagles don't have. They'll score 13 points and beat the Raiders and be just fine with that. It's almost like they're bored out there. And some games they lost last week, which last couple of weeks actually, yeah. And Miss Elaine Johnson has obviously proven to be devastating. Hoping to get him back here in the next couple of weeks. And if they can, then that offensive line will be much better. He is the core of that fucking offensive line and a big reason why they've had the success they've had over the last handful of years. But starts with this game, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, the way he's playing, yes. And Saquon Barkley. Philly's defense, yes. Flex players for the Eagles, I'm going with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Both of those guys are involved. Goedert is Hurts' favorite weapon other than the last few games with A.J. Brown. Goedert's been the one that was getting all the targets for the majority of the season. So I still think he's good to go. You can start him as a tight end, no problem. On the other side for the Raiders, it's Brock Bowers, man. I think Ashton Genty's more of a flex play this week, a number 3 running back, a flex guy. Genty's just not had the success everybody expected to. All right, everybody expected him to. Part of it's the offensive line issues. Part of it's the coaching issues. Part of it's the whole damn organizational issues. But Genty is a fine player, just not one I'm saying you have to start this week. I think there's better options. Of Woody Marks, I'd start Woody Marks over Ashton Genty this week. I would start a couple other guys over Ashton Genty this week if I had to make the decision. Just because against this Philly front four, even missing Jalen Carter, their defensive line is a damn good team. Not willing to start anybody else. Geno probably is out this week, so it'll be Kenny Pickett getting a start. Not interested, even going against his old team. Yes, we'd love to see a revenge game, but I'm just not willing to do it. No, none of the receivers. I don't want any Raiders receivers. So other than that, there's not much else to talk about in this game. I expect the Eagles to win handily. The 4 p.m. games, the Colts are 8-5, take on the Seahawks, who are 10-3. Colts have dropped a few here. Starting Phillip Rivers with the news of Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles out for the season, and Riley Leonard with a knee injury, who is week to week. Now, he may be the emergency backup today, but Phillip Rivers is getting the starts for the Colts. Phillip Rivers is an interesting option. He's 44 years old, hasn't played in 5 years. It's going to be – I think it's going to be a bad day for Phillip Rivers against the Seahawks defense, and I think it's going to be a bad day for the Colts. I'm hoping Phillip Rivers can be healthy and play the rest of the season for them, simply for the fact that it still gives them a slight chance, but I don't think this is the day that we get to see that. Starts for this game, Sam Darnold. JSN, obviously, he's had a few up and down game last couple of weeks, but JSN has been the best receiver in football for the majority of the season, so I'm giving him his due. The Seattle defense, yes. Jason Myers, the kicker there, yes. I'm starting all of those. Well, for the Colts, I'm starting Jonathan Taylor. The receiving options all kind of become flex players with Phillip Rivers. Tyler Warren, flex player. Michael Pittman, flex guy. He's a number 3/number 4 wide receiver instead of that number 2 to 3 he's been all season. And the same for Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren's been a number 1 tight end. Not the last handful of weeks. He's been scoring more like a number 2, but he's still a damn good tight end. He's only a rookie, and he's only going to get better as the career goes on. But the season has definitely slowed down. So I got to keep him as a flex option, and along with Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce, I don't know if Rivers will be able to get the ball down there against this Seattle defense, man. With the pressure that they're going to create against the banged-up offensive line there for the Colts, I think it's going to be a tough game for the Colts to have success with anywhere but running the ball, and the Seattle is a really good run defense. So not expecting a ton of success from the Colts here. Now, maybe Phillip Rivers comes in. He's fresh. He's healthy. His arm is live these first handful of weeks, and they can steal a win. It's just not what I'm expecting. Other guys get in your lineups for these teams. I think you can go ahead and throw A.J. Barner in there as a flex option, and I think Charbonnet is probably going to get involved in this game as a flex option. On the Colts side, like I said, just not a lot of players I can trust this week with Phillip Rivers getting a start and against this defense. So, next game, the Packers 9-3-1, leading the NFC North this week, take on the Broncos 11-2. Come on, Denver! Hate the Packers. Broncos, like I said, 11-2, number 1 in their conference, number 1 in their division. They're tied with the Patriots at 11-2 is the best team in the NFL. Definitely going to be an interesting game. I think the Packers could have some success with Josh Jacobs questionable, Emmanuel Wilson questionable. Jacobs is expected to play, but that Denver defense is incredible. They could definitely get to Jordan Love. They could definitely put some pressure on Jordan Love, get him throwing in some of those hope balls he likes to throw and get some turnovers. But I could see it going the other way too, where the Denver Dolphins can't get going against this Packers defense. And this is a low scoring affair that one of these teams just sneaks out. So starts for this game, I'm starting Bo Nix. I'm starting Cortland Sutton. I'm starting RJ Harvey. Like, without a question, I'm starting all three of those guys. I think they're the main focal points. And with no Pat Bryant, Cortland Sutton is going to be needed as that big body even more. I'm also starting Denver's defense just because they're the best defense in football. It's between them and Houston. Maybe Seattle's got a little argument, but they're incredible, man. I love their defense. That's why I got them going to the Super Bowl. They were one of my Super Bowl picks this year. But I think this is a game that they could definitely win. They could definitely stumble on their own feet, trip on their own feet, and lose this game to the Packers, who have been playing well as of late, especially since getting options back like Watson and Jaden Reed. So starts on the other side, Josh Jacobs. If he plays, I start him. Christian Watson. The rest of these guys are kind of flex options to me, man. I think Jordan Love is more of a number 2 this week. I think Christian Watson is more of a low-end number 2, number 3 receiver, just because of the corners there for Denver. Now, they can be beat, so it's not like I got to get away from these guys no matter what. But I try to consider the matchup and what they're going against. So Sutton, you're starting him off for Denver, but on the other side, Watson is more of a flex. Jaden Reed, I think you can flex. They could definitely be using him as a little trick play type of player, crossing route type of player, handoff, all that stuff, all the stuff he's good at. He's like a baby Deebo Samuel, and he can line up in the backfield. He can take a pitch. He does a lot of things that helps that offense out, and it's why I think they're going to be competitive in this game. One, I still think Denver wins, but Jaden Reed, he's like a number 3 flex option. Not really interested in any of the tight ends. Not really interested in Romeo Doubs this week. Manuel Wilson, like I said, more than likely not going to play. Chris Brooks, if you're desperate, I think that if Jacobs is banged up and they're limiting his touches, then Chris Brooks is probably the next guy in line to get some opportunities. But I'm not recommending starting him by any means unless you're in the deepest of leagues. On the other side, for the Broncos, like we talked about, I'm not really the guys like Mims. This is probably the game that Mims has 2 touchdowns because nobody is expecting it of him. And that's usually when Mims has 2 touchdowns. But Evan Ingram, I just can't. You can't trust him. You see it. It's a catch, and then it's 8 catches, then it's 2 catches. It's like, dude, what are we doing here, Ingram? You're too talented to have this lack of success, and I just don't know what to do with you. But everybody else in this game, not really interested in. Not really. McLaughlin, no thanks. I think this is going to be a tougher game, so he probably won't be involved as much. And none of the other tight ends. Troy Franklin, you flex him, I guess, especially with Pat Bryant being out. Like I said, it's probably the game that Mims gets 2 touchdowns, but who knows? Maybe it's Franklin's day. I'm hoping Cortland Sutton gets 2 touchdowns, but that's just me. Next game on the list, though, Titans 2-11 take on the 49ers 9-4. If I ever seen a trap game, this is probably it. Christian McCaffrey, I don't remember if I mentioned that. He popped up with a back on Saturday. He was questionable. He is going to play. They're expecting him to play, no problem. So just a little, end of the season fantasy playoff scare for you with Christian McCaffrey, who that was a big concern with him all season is will he last through the season? Then he pops up with his back injury the day before he plays. So something to pay attention to. Check those inactives, but I'm expecting McCaffrey to be out there. I also expect him to be very successful because I would definitely start McCaffrey, starting George Kittle, starting Brock Purdy, starting San Fran's defense this week, as well as the kicker. So I think you're going to be good with all those. On the Titans side, not really want to start anybody. Flex guy, Tony Pollard had a huge day last week. I'm not expecting that this week. I do expect him to still get opportunities. Him and Spears have been splitting it. I think him and Spears are both flexible guys. Alec Ayo-Maynor, not really interested in him. Tamir Dickey's the one I like, mainly because of I like Ayo-Maynor better as a receiving option. I like Tamir Dickey better as a fantasy option because of the kick returns that he gets. And he could definitely take one to the house at any moment. We've seen that. So Joey Slide, the kicker there for Tennessee, I think you could start him this week. I think he could get some opportunities. Cam Ward gets him down in position. But not really anybody else in this game other like Gunnar Helm, even as much as I like him. Chika Conquo's back kind of fully healthy. So I'm not really interested in any other Titans. That's just all there is to it. Next game, Panthers 7-6. The NFC South leading Panthers at 7-6 take on the Saints 3-10. A battle in the NFC South. A battle in the NFC South. The Saints, they've been playing better as of late, just not getting a lot of wins. They did get a win last week, which is always good to see. I told you I like Tyler Shuck. He just continues to get better. Had the 2 rushing touchdowns last week. You love to see that. I didn't even see that coming. I told you I think he reminds me of Jared Goff. That's a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. I didn't expect he was that fast, so that was good to see from him. Starts for this game, though. I think this is going to be a fantasy day for everybody. I think you can start Bryce Young. I think you can start Tetairoa McMillan. I'm starting Rico Dotto probably over Chuba Hubbard. That would be my option of the two. And that's the way I feel about it. I think maybe you could flex Chuba Hubbard as well. They're probably both flex options, but I'm starting Rico Dotto this game. For the Saints, I think as a number 2 QB, you can start Tyler Shuck, man. He's been playing well enough that you need somebody out there. Maybe you're not happy about, maybe you got Jacoby Brissett and you need to sit him. Tyler Shuck could be the guy that you put in for him. Alvin Kamara being out, Devin Neal, you keep starting him. He's a low-end number 2, high-end number 3 type of player, and Devin Neal continues to put points on the board. Chris Olave, you're starting him. Flex guys, Juwan Johnson, yes. Devon Vele would be the other guy I would be willing to flex in this game. Like I said, I think there's going to be some fantasy points scored in this game, and I definitely think that you can get some options out of this game. The Saints defense, I'm even willing to flex them. Same with Carolina Panthers on the other side. I think this is going to be a game all around that you can get some points from. It's weird to say that between these two teams for me, just because of recent years and even the Saints' success this year. But I feel like there's going to be some fantasy points put up in this game. The kickers, Charlie Smith, that's with a Y, and don't you forget it. He will be active again, but will be the Saints kicker. I think you can use him. And then Fitzgerald on the other side. He's going to be an option for you if you need a kicker. The Lions take on the Rams. Lions are 8-5. Rams are 10-3. This is going to be a big game in a possible playoff situation for the Lions. The Rams are trying to win the NFC West still. The Lions have a slight chance to win NFC North, but chances are slim. They're more likely a wild card playoff team. And if Seattle holds on to the NFC West, this could be a huge game in the wild card playoffs. So Rams starting on them, Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Like I said, he was questionable, but he's expected to play. So I'm starting him. And I think Kyren Williams got to drop down to a flex guy, mainly because they've been getting Blake Corum more involved, just kind of rest Kyren Williams a little bit to lead into the playoffs. They do need to win this game, so it could be a Kyren Williams type of game. The way they've been throwing the ball around for the Rams, with Stafford having a damn good season, an MVP type season, I think Kyren Williams is probably more of a flex along with Blake Corum. The Rams defense is a flex just because the Lions can put points on the board. Starts for the Lions, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think you can start Jameson Williams in this game. This game is probably going to be an offensive battle. Going to try to be a high-scoring affair between two teams that can put points on the board. I think the Rams defense is probably more of a flex, like I said, with Kyren Williams, with Blake Corum. Blake Corum's a low-end flex option, but he's definitely been involved enough lately that you could say, if I need a running back this week, somebody's out or something, you can throw Blake Corum in there and hope to get 40 yards and a touchdown. For the Lions, Monty's more of a sit for me this week. I don't think Montgomery's a good start this week against this Rams defense. And none of these tight ends are really good enough to do it. No Tom Kennedy, no Isaac Tesla, although Tesla has been getting more involved, just being out on the field since the board has been gone. Tom Kennedy has been the guy that's had the more success. So I think you can probably sit both of them. Sunday Night Football, Vikings 5-8 take on the Cowboys, who are 6-1 after that loss to the Lions. Nice job, Lions. Starts for this game, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, who will play. He's out of concussion protocol. George Pickens, I think you can start all of them, and Javonte Williams. And obviously Brandon Aubrey, the best kicker in football right now. On the other side, it's hard to say you got to start anybody, man. Not that the Dallas defense has been stopping you. I'm still starting Justin Jefferson. That's just how I feel about it. And I'm starting Aaron Jones mainly because he's the receiving option. And in this game, even with those two big fellas in the middle on the Dallas D, Aaron Jones can get to the outside no problem and definitely get some receptions to help you score some fantasy points. Flex players, I think you can flex Jordan Mason, honestly. They need him still. They don't have a ton of options that have had a lot of success in the passing game, so they've been trying to run it more. Jordan Mason, he's a desperation flex, but somebody that if you need a guy in a pinch, then Jordan Mason's your guy. Not really willing to start anybody else. I don't want to start you. McCarthy played well last week, but we've seen this already. He plays well one week, then he plays like ass the next week. So not recommending it. If you need a desperation start in his 2 QB league, J.J. McCarthy against this Dallas defense with no Trayvon Diggs is an option, but not one I'm recommending. I'm sitting Jalen Naylor. I'm sitting T.J. Hockenson. Not really interested in any of those guys. For Cowboys flex guys, it's really just, do you want to get in? Well, Jake Ferguson, I'm flexing him every week. And do you want to get into the Ryan Flournoy sweepstakes? I do not personally, so I would sit him. And then Dallas defense, I'm sitting them. I know they're a recommended start, but I just can't trust them, man. You think they should do good, they do shitty. You think they should do shitty, and they do good. And it's like you're messing up fantasy for us, Dallas. You've been playing better since you got those 2 defensive tackles together with Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, but the outside can still be attacked, and it's like, oh, like you can flex them if you need a defense, but it's, like I said, it's not something I'm saying you have to do. And then the Monday Night Football game, we got the Dolphins, who are 6-7 suddenly, versus the Steelers, who are 7-6. And in a wild card situation, this could be a huge game if the Steelers don't win their own division. So Dolphins starts, Devon Achane, he's in your lineup. That's how I look at it. Tua, you can go ahead and start him. Jalen Waddle, start him. On the other side, you got Jaylen Warren, who's still been good. I know Gainwell's been stealing some of those opportunities over the handful of weeks, but Jaylen Warren's still a damn good player. DK Metcalf had a big week last week. I think you're good to go against this Dolphins defense. Flex players. For the Dolphins, I'm flexing Darren Waller. I'm flexing Riley Patterson, the kicker there, still filling in for Jason Sanders. And you can probably flex the Miami defense, honestly. On the Steelers side, you got guys that you could flex a Pat Freiermuth in the deepest of leagues, and Kenny Gainwell, you can flex him. Aaron Rodgers, you can flex him. Not recommending Aaron Rodgers as a flex just because I'm not a big Rodgers guy right now. I feel like we're watching him fall apart, but this will probably be a game he goes for 350 and 4, and I'm going, I should have said he was a start of the week. That's the way fantasy football goes. I assure you. There's a reason they play the games. That's what they say, because you look at it on paper, it does not always come out the way it shows on paper. But other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hope you have a good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching. Until next time, I'm out. First down, Punts!